Hello there, and good day to all you race fans watching this now. Welcome to Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin for round 14 of Season 3 of the Speed Racing Series presented by Middle Road Energy. It's our fourth and final road course race of Season 3, so if you consider yourself to be good at a track like this, you better be on your A game today. Speaking of who's on their A game, RJ Bishop and Rambler Racing are most certainly on it. He was able to win at Iowa after starting deep in the field there, and he now has a whopping 192-point lead over Noah Hart going into this round. So him and the number 38 team are already looking to be the championship favorites with that statement win. Will he keep the stride going today, or will someone else rise to the occasion and give him a challenge? Time to find out now as we look to get this race underway here in the Badger State. Your front row starters of Zachary Fitzwater and Charles Sanford both had nights to forget at Iowa, both failing to finish the race and losing out on a good chunk of points. But today they hope to get a day of redemption underneath this hot Wisconsin sun. It's an 85-degree day outside, so these drivers better do their best to stay hydrated, stay cool, and don't break focus. Anyway, up the long hill they climb. It'll be a tough 35-lap test around this road course, and the green flag is waving. We are racing at Road America for round 14. Fitzwater gets away fine with the lead. You got a side-by-side battle between Zachary DeLello going by the 16 of Sanford for second. He's going to clear him there. Down into this left-hander of turn 5. This can be a problem spot on the track. Is any trouble going to break out here? They're getting through there all right. Oh, Noah Hart out of line. Oh, and around goes the 82 of Ziemba. Cody Goforth as well in the 5. And the chaos sure did take place right there. Goforth gets going straight. I think that's the 41 of Shane Sides. It is. He was in it. The 82 went around, I know. Oh, and I think the 71 of Skylar Taylor also received heavy damage. Yes, she did. But it looks like the rest of the cars made it through there all right. Oh, it was the 24 of Ricky Freeman Jr. way out onto the grass. As he rejoins the racetrack, I'll explain why he's in that car in just a moment. But here goes the field, rounding about this carousel and down into this quick right-hand kink section. There they go. Here's Trey Corderlo on the inside of Major Robinson. He has to get out of the gas. It's tough to go through that section 3 wide. And now down the long back straightaway into the right-hand Canada corner. The top 10 single file right there. There's RJ Bishop making a move underneath Logan Cloud, who also has nose damage in the 20 car. And the final turn number 14, Fitzwater has nobody around him. DeLello in second, Sanford third. Oh, as the 66 Yoshiko Sakamoto went wide. That'll give the 21 of Vince Freeze a chance to get by her. We also got Dylan Young in the 4th position as well. But it's going to be Fitzwater, who was safe at the end of lap 1 at Road America. And yep, right there, the 71 of Taylor does have to pit to fix damage. Brantley Gage, Lane Sanders, and Zayden Davidson going 3 wide right there. But it looks like the 71 suffered the worst of that turn 5 incident. I kind of thought we would see some trouble in turn 5 today, and indeed that's what happened. Up ahead, the 82 is going to go for his own little spin, but back here, it's just going to become one big log jam. You see the 44 gets into the 71 and then into the 5, causing a collision between many cars. Cody Goforth gets going in the right direction again. Obviously, Skylar Taylor got the most amount of damage, but her team was able to fix the car and get the damage repaired, but her car will be in a wounded state going forward. Back here in 20th place is where you find that 24 Chevy for S3 Motorsports. And like I mentioned, it is indeed Ricky Freeman Jr. behind the wheel of that ride for this race, not Harrison Riley. Obviously, if you watched Iowa, Riley had that vicious hit into the wall, and because of that, he has not been medically cleared to race today. So Freeman was the lucky guy that was chosen by S3 Motorsports to drive this car for this race. And that is a great opportunity by Freeman. And I think what is only his 7th career start is he's going to wash up wide off of the final turn and make room for Noah Hart on the bottom. But on the flip side, it is a shame because Harrison Riley was the Season 1 winner here. And I'm sure he would have loved to come back to at least defend that win from Season 1. But Freeman, he's got a great opportunity to see what he can do, at least for this race. And we'll see if Riley does come back to this car at Indianapolis. As Freeman, he is just about hanging on for dear life in that ride, as he's going to lose 2 positions to his teammates of Jacob Pujols and Roberto Crown Jr. and possibly Shade Eves as well. But still, Freeman doing a great job just staying on the pavement, staying clean, and hopefully he'll be that way at the end of the day. Oh, won't you take a look at this? There's the 18 of Noah Hart shooting up into the pits. Only 5 laps into the race. I'm flabbergasted by seeing this. This is way too early to be making a scheduled pit stop, unless that 18 team has some bold plan up their sleeves that they don't want to tell us. Don't forget, Noah Hart is runner-up in the points to RJ Bishop. Oh, and you see the 17 of JD Martin pitting, Cody Goforth, Benedict Mirdo. But it's a quick one, in and out for Noah Hart. As we'll see how well this pays off in the run, but at least if we get a caution, he won't have to pit again. But we'll see how this plays out for him down the road. And we also got James Ellison and Cody Lamas pitting right here. And there's Logan Cloud in the 20. They're doing what Noah Hart just did a lap ago. So they're going to sacrifice some pretty valuable track position right here. But who knows, maybe these guys might be onto something as the 47 of Shade Eves, he's pitting. They're definitely going for a big-time short pitting plan. I mean, of course, it's not a bad thing if you are at a track as big as this, around 4 miles in length. I mean, if a caution comes out right here, these guys will be in great shape. They won't have to pit. Oh, as there's Lane Sanders. He's doing the same thing as well. So, I don't know. Could this bring in more cars in the pit road? Who knows? But we'll have to see in the future laps if more people do. Up at the front, we find the 2 Zacharies of Fitzwater and DeLello. And what are they going to do as they come on the front straightaway? It looks like they will bypass the pit road entrance. Yep, same with Charles Samper and Dylan Young. And it looks like they're going to try and go the long haul here. Their teams will keep them on the track until they deem it necessary to pit. Do we got any more takers? Going to try and do the short pit plan? Nope, doesn't look like it. It looks like these drivers and teams are going to bank on this race staying green. And that is indeed what they're going to try and strategize here. As, oh, the 15 of DeLello got wiggly as he approached the 7 car going into 3, and he is going to lose a little bit of time. DeLello was able to find his ground again in Iowa and get a top 10 out there, but he's still 15th in the points, so of course he's much used to being higher than that, and he is the highest running Toyota driver in the point standings. Obviously, Fitzwater, he had a rough patch at Iowa. Same goes with Samper, both crashing out of the race. And, oh, the 15. Oh, he leaves the track right there in turn 6, and that is going to make room for the 16 to pass him. Samper up to P2. My, Zachary DeLello, he's got a handful on that Aaron's Dream machine. Losing ground in turn 3 to Fitzwater, now losing a position in turn 6 to Samper. And here's the 87 of Dylan Young lurking just behind this battle between the top 3. Your winner out at Portland. Of course, he's found a great amount of stride ever since joining the Spa team, capturing that magical win out there at round 4. And he's got a great shot to do it again. He's hanging real good with Fitzwater, Samper, and DeLello. How about 5th place? Here's Vince Freeze, still running strong in the top 5. Lucas Gaetano giving that 83 Red Bull ride a good performance so far. There he is in 6th place. Here's 7th place, Yoshiko Sakamoto. She's also a good road course racer in her own right, but her 2 career wins have come on the short tracks, which was very surprising. Phoenix and Richmond. Then the back half of the top 10, you got Major Robinson, Luke Martin, and Aaron Jordan, the rookie. That does make it 2 pole position cars in the top 10, and then you got Trey Cordello in 11th place. Obviously, the most experienced road course racer among the field, even though it's not related to the series. That's just what his racing background is in his career before even joining the series. But Cordeiro still being patient right outside the top 10, and maybe he might get a shot at the 12 car eventually. Oh, and down in Canada corner, Cordeiro makes a mistake. He goes wide, and he's going to lose 3 spots in an instant. Maybe even more as Jesse Turner comes into the picture in the 94 car. That's a rare mistake by Cordeiro. He kind of overstepped his boundaries while going into Canada corner. He went too high on the track, and that's 4 spots that he loses to RJ Bishop, DJ Curtis, Nick Breeding, and Jesse Turner, and that will put him in 15th place at the end of it. And a slip up by DJ Curtis in turn 3 gives RJ Bishop a chance to get underneath them. There they go down the straightaway side by side. And that would be for the 11th position. Of course, RJ, road courses aren't exactly his cup of tea. The 2 times he did not finish in the top 10 happened at Portland and also at the Glen, where he finished 41st and 20th respectively, but he's actually going to gain a position ahead of DJ Curtis right there in the 19. He'll gain a spot right there. Oh, the 94 of Turner, the Mosport winner, gets on the grass as he goes by the 00 of Breeding. And that will be for position 13. Obviously for RJ, he's got to do what he can to still have a decent day and pad his points lead over his competitors. Of course, the closest one being Charles Samper, who's running second right now. But days like these is exactly what RJ has to do. There's nothing wrong with playing it conservatively. I mean, you got that good of a gap over your competition, a 192-point lead. I mean, you could afford to give up a little here and there and still be all right. That's what RJ is doing, but he is in 11th, and he might knock on the door of the top 10 with Luke Martin if he gets to him. Now, out of the drivers that committed to the short pitting plan, the 18 of Noah Hart is ahead of them all in 32nd. There's James Ellison and Cody Lamas, 33rd, 34th. Lane Sanders in 35th. Or where did Kyle Rigger go? Oh, there he is, Kyle Rigger. He must have just came off pit road. That confused me for a second. But you also got Shade Eves, Logan Cloud, Skylar Taylor, obviously with damage, Edward Ziemba, and then J.D. Martin. And pretty much everyone else is going to stick to that plan. But so far, Noah Hart being the best of them all out of that group of drivers. Hearing there was just contact between the 66 and the 85. And look where it happens, down in turn number 5, and crunch goes the 85 in the rear end of Sakamoto's Chevrolet. Not what those 2 drivers needed at all. They're both racing hard for the 7th position. Just a little bit of overstepping by the 85 of Robinson, and aerodynamically, that's likely going to hurt that car. But Robinson's still a good driver. He did get a podium at Watkins Glen. I mean, he can tough his way through anything, but obviously he has more damage than the 66 does. Yep, there they both go, up the hill towards the pits. Sakamoto and Robinson, due to that contact, they're going to choose to pit right here. And now they will join the list of those that came early, like Lamas, Ellison, Cloud, Sanders, J.D. Martin, Cody Goforth, all those guys. No one's still entering the pits at this time, but now they enter the stalls way towards the front as they'll go to work and probably take a little bit more time on that 85 car before they send it back out. Oh, and how about this right here? The top 4 of Fitzwater, Sanford, DeLello, and Young all come down pit road together at the end of lap 14, as well as Catano and Freeze. So I guess their teams are content with calling them to pit road right here, but no, Aaron Jordan in the 12, he's going to beg to differ. He'll stay on the racetrack 1 lap longer than these guys. Anybody else? Yep, Martin and Bishop in. Nick Breeding staying out in the 00. Turner in. Crown staying out. Then Curtis, Cordeiro, Strigley, Buchholz, and others. Freeman staying on the track in the 24, so it's a whole mixed bag of pit strategies right here. And I suppose 14 to 15 laps is the ideal fuel distance here at Road America, so we found out where the window closes. As there goes Charles Samper out of his pit box first, and he's going to beat Fitzwater. The 7 team taking a lot more extra time than they needed to, and he's going to come out of the pits in 4th. And he will lose position to the 16, the 15, and the 87. as that is where he will come out now, as well as these other drivers. And now the 12 car hits the pit lane, so I think this should conclude the rest of the pit cycle for everybody here. Nick Breeding and Roberto Crown Jr. to follow Aaron Jordan. There's Ricky Freeman Jr. in the 24. Aiden Smith also stayed out, along with Angel Gutierrez. And there's Charles Sanford. So in a few seconds, we'll see where Sanford will come up to in relation to the 12. And here comes that 16 towards the start-finish line. He crosses it there, and the 12 car's not going to have a chance for Sanford at all. He finally exits his pit box, along with Freeman, Breeding, and those other guys. But Sanford is going to be the cherry on top at the end of this pit stop cycle. He'll take over P1, looks like over Zachary DeLello, Dylan Young, and Noah Hart, who was one of the early stoppers. As Charles Sanford goes underneath the Toyota bridge in turn 13, and the scoring board should reset when he crosses the line again. But again, excellent work by his team to give him a killer stop and to get him out in excellent position here. Anyway, he leads over DeLello and Young, and never mind about Noah Hart being fourth. He's coming in to make his second scheduled stop now. So he'll give up a top 5 position. Anyway, we're on lap 17, so we'll go through the field real quick. There's Sanford, Zachary DeLello, Dylan Young going for second on DeLello. That's a cool little battle that's pursuing on right there. Zachary Fitzwater, unfortunately, due to the slow pit stop that his team gave him, he's in fourth right now. Fifth place is James Ellison, who's risen up here, but I think he is going to pit soon, along with Noah Hart. Here's Vince Freeze, Cody Lamas, Aaron Jordan, Lucas Catano, and Yoshika Sakamoto does make up the back half of the top 10. And then in 11th place, you got Luke Martin, RJ Bishop still doing good, Nick Breeding, who's having a great day as well. His teammate Major Robinson going to be attacked by Jesse Turner beneath him. And then behind that duo, you got DJ Curtis, who actually has a little bit of nose damage. Wonder where he got that from. We'll see how much longer he can last in that condition. Then you got Roberto Crown Jr., Trey Corderlo, Lane Sanders, and Shade Eves rounding out the top 20. As he almost was going to get to the back end of the 86. Anyway, in 21st, here's Logan Cloud, Ricky Freeman Jr., his teammate Jacob Holtz. Then Scott Roush and Joseph Strigley, not really having par days in particular for themselves. They're way back here. Then you got Mac Johnson and Brantley Gage for Nova Sport. Then you got Christian Vargas for Spa, Austin Rogers for Lake Effect, and then Aiden Smith, I believe, is technically 30th. And then behind him, Zayden Davidson. That's got to be a disappointing run for him in that 35 team. He's way down here outside 30th. Then you got Sean Ard, Edward Ziemba, who spun on the very first lap. He is back here. Then you got Kyle Rigger, Angel Gutierrez for Crossroads, then Saber Fox, and there is Noah Hart. He recycles to around that position. Then you got Hergel Alonso, Shane Sides, JD Martin, Cody Goforth, Skylar Taylor with that damage, and Benedict Mirdo, last driver on the track. All 43 cars still in the running. And just like I predicted, the 61 of Ellison coming down pit road now for his second stop. It looks like he might just be outside the fuel window to make it, but we saw the 18 of Noah Hart come down earlier, so among that first group that pitted early, we should see more of them start to make their way down real soon. Now the 48 of Cody Lamas sacrifices a top 10 position, and he heads up the hill towards the pits like Ellison did a couple laps ago. And he continues this big game of musical pit stops here at Road America. I know that's happened pretty frequently today. Anyone else joining him? Yep, here comes the 86 of Sanders, Scott Roush, Logan Cloud, yeah. So these guys that differed from the rest of the field, they're coming in to make their second pit stops now. So, I mean, it definitely has a green flag kind of feel to the day. Oh, as you see, the 50 car of Roush has damage. We'll have to investigate that as well. But if we do stay green, it'll be interesting to see just exactly how this pans out for these guys, as they are like right on the edge of being able to make it, but I don't quite know for sure. And we found out what happened to Scott Roush, and it's going to involve another Spa car and Lane Sanders. Roush is going to fail to slow down in time to turn number 5, and he rear ends the 86 Ford. So for Roush, the third place points driver, that'll be a bump in the road for him and his plans in this race, as that's the second Spa car to receive contact down in that quarter like Major Robinson and Yoshika Sakamoto did, but now Roush, he has suffered the same problem. DJ Curtis, who was racing inside the top 20, pits here on lap 23. As the Jackman drops the car on the ground, his team fixes that nose damage that he had, and they send him away. And here comes the 61 back down pit road again, James Ellison. Maybe he must be coming down to top off with fuel. Saber Fox also coming in the 78. But going back to find your leader. Oh, and the 47 has lost his engine. Out of the back straightaway. Charles Sanford goes on by, and Eves is right in the middle of the racing line. Oh, I hope he doesn't get hit. Shade Eves, what a bad break for him and that new Shade Industries team. And is that going to trigger a yellow? It actually does. Lights are going on top of the pace car. And on lap 23, the first caution of the day flies here at Road America, as the engine has let go on that 47 Toyota for Shade Eves, and that's real bad for him. He's been needing a good finish to come by for several weeks. He did get a top 15 to Chicagoland, but now the magic of that is gone down the tubes as Sanford will cross the line as the leader. Cody Goforth in the 5, as well as Mirdo in the 44. They're able to stay on the lead lap. But there comes the pace car to catch Sanford, Dylan Young, Zachary DeLello, Zachary Fitzwater, and Vince Fries in the top 5 as the pace gets slowed down this afternoon. Now the majority of the field comes down pit road for what should be their final pit stops of the day. But check out what's happening on the racetrack. The group of drivers who decided to short pit are choosing to stay out, including Cody Lamas, DJ Curtis, and quite a few guys. So that is going to shake up this restart by a lot here. Meanwhile, on pit road, it's a dead heat between the 16 and the 87. You can give it to Dylan Young, who's going to shoot out of pit road first over Sanford, Jordan, Fries, and DeLello. But they are going to have quite a few cars to climb up through when we go back around to take the green flag again. Obviously, this caution was a big break for the front 9 cars, who just happened to pit right before the yellow came out for Shade Eves. But their fuel levels are a little bit slimmer compared to the rest of the cars that just pitted. But their teams are going to try and make this strategy work and hopefully make it to the finish line without running dry. Anyway, those front 9 cars are going to be Cody Lamas and DJ Curtis and Logan Cloud, the 3 Martin Motorsports cars, followed by Roush, Ellison, Ziemba, Saber Fox, Lane Sanders, and Kyle Rigger. We still have a lot of distance left to cover. How will this restart play out? We are back to green at Road America with 10 to go. The 48 and the 19 were just about in a dead heat, but Lamas will get the edge over Curtis by the time they go through this right-hand corner. Roush and Ziemba battling side by side for the 3rd position. Oh, we got a wreck! DeLello, Crown, and RJ Bishop are caught up in it. Unbelievable. The points leader gets swept up in this collision with the 46 and the 15. Goodness gracious, that is wild. Oh, but we need to look and see how the field does through turn 5. Will they be clean this time? Oh, a couple minor collisions I see, but they're going to get through there mostly okay. But man, that's not what RJ Bishop needed at all. He loses a whole load of positions. Same with Zachary DeLello and Roberto Crown Jr. They each have damage to the rear end of their race cars. Oh, and nose damage onto the 44, Benedict Mirdo. He didn't need that too. We'll have to get a replay of that when they come back around, but that is a major twist if I've ever seen one. RJ Bishop, his luck runs out, and now he has a big setback in front of him. Meanwhile, Lamas and Curtis get away. Ziemba still side by side with Scott Roush, but he has to get out of the gas when they go through the kink. Roush is going to get 3rd. Here comes Logan Cloud in the 20 to try and take over 4th and join his 2 teammates at the front of the field, but the 82 wasn't giving up. Dylan Young making a move to the inside of Lane Sanders. Looks like they'll get through Canada corner all right as well. But the 48 and the 19 are the safest out of them all. They've opened up a big gap over Scott Roush, whose car is obviously very wounded. It's amazing that Roush is still holding a podium position, but at the end of the restart lap, it is officially Lamas' lead. Unbelievable how your days can be shaken up so quickly in this series. And RJ Bishop, Zachary DeLello, and Alberto Crown Jr. are going to find out the hard way on that lesson. But how does it occur going through turn 3? There's RJ Bishop going underneath DeLello. Oh, and the 38's going to receive contact from Nick Breeding in the 0-0. And then that's going to result in the 38, 46, and the 15 all coming together as they spin onto the grass. They all get that going again onto the racetrack, but now they'll have a lot of work to do to better their results in a short time to do it. It appears the aerodynamic state of the 50 car might be starting to show its ugly face because Roush, you see he just lacks the momentum down the straightaway as Sanford is going to go by in that 16 Chevy. So Sanford breaks into the top 5 after restarting 10th. Roush, who was running 3rd at one point, now is starting to feel the effects of his car being in the damaged state that it is. You see Aaron Jordan and Dylan Young in the 12 and 87 behind Roush. So as of now, Sanford, out of the drivers that came down pit road under the caution, he is the highest running of them, followed by the 12, the 87, and the 21 of Freeze. Lane Sanders, he was among the group of drivers that stayed out. Sakamoto was part of the group of drivers that pitted. Same with Jacob Holtz. Zachary Fitzwater, your pole sitter. Unfortunately, he hasn't had things pan out in his favor ever since he lost the lead on the first green flag pit stops, as Jacob Holtz is going to get around him right there. Here's Kyle Rigger and Saber Fox, as you see, losing control back there. Rigger doing a great job in that 10 car. He got a career best of 14th at Iowa. Oh, as you see Nick Breeding running wide. He keeps it going, though, but Rigger looking to also hopefully score 2 straight good finishes in a row. Ricky Freeman Jr., we talked about him getting this one off attempt for S3 Motorsports. Oh, but he got onto the curve, and I think the 0-0 Breeding isn't going to go by him, but Freeman also not doing too bad either, and falling down the furthest of the drivers that stayed on the track is Saber Fox in the 78, who crossed the line in 16th. I mean, for all the circumstances that she and Furry Row Motorsports have faced this season, it's good for the 78 to get some TV time restarting up in the top 10, but now you can see her car isn't as capable of running as well with some of the other top cars out here. Anyway, Sanford escapes. Roush trying to hang on and maybe get a top 10 out of this day, but I think with over 6 laps to go, it might be hard for him to do that. Sanford has reeled in the 20 car Logan Cloud. He's been sizing him up the last couple of laps or so, and now he'll make his attempt to go by the 20 entering Canada corner. And I would suspect that he will do it with these, so Sanford is going to get ahead of Logan Cloud and up into 4th place. And obviously with RJ Bishop having the problems that he had right out on the restart, that is key for Sanford to gain those lost points back that he lost at Iowa when he ended up DNFing and Bishop ended up winning. As we come to 5 laps to go now with Lamas having a 3-second lead over DJ Curtis. There is that red 38 of RJ Bishop. Right now running in 34th, right behind Trey Corderlo. There's Roberto Crown Jr. and his wounded number 46 car. He's behind him in 35th. And also Zachary DeLello. Those 3 drivers that were in that restart incident just trying to make do, as you also see the 3 of Angel Gutierrez. He also has damage too. Oh, and is that Roush pitting in the background? Yes, it is. Scott Roush, who was in the top 20 right there. He pits right here on lap 31. And that's not Guy for the gentleman who's 3rd in points. Don't know what could have been the issue right there, but Roush giving up a whole bunch of positions and a whole bunch of time as he won't really have the chance to make up for it. So that's going to be a bitter defeat for Roush and that 50 crew. And the 3 of Angel Gutierrez got that nose damage from this little fender bender down to turn number 5 with Zachary DeLello. As right there, the 3 runs into the rear end of the 15 as DeLello has more damage to the rear end of that Toyota Camry. And obviously Gutierrez has that nose damage. So, I mean, it's already not been that great of a day for Gutierrez, and it already just got worse. More turn 5 troubles for Major Robinson. He's going to get a whole bunch of damage here as Saber Fox in the 78 is going to check up massively in front of him, and bam! That's a big contact to the front end of that 85 Ford. As Fox is going to lose a great deal of positions right there. She gets passed by about 5-6 cars. But Robinson, he's been through a rough slump too lately in the Speed Racing Series, as he didn't get good finishes at Chicagoland and Iowa. So I'll be surprised if he's able to stay on the track in this state. But now he's got this to overcome too. Samper in the 16 still continues to be opportunistic. Here he goes to the inside of Edward Ziemba to possibly take over third. And going through turn 1, Samper will do just that. He has just the Martin duo of Curtis and Lamas ahead of him, but they are all 5 seconds behind the 48. How about this for Cody Lamas, though, anyway? If he can be able to hang on for a little over 3 more laps, he'll be the first Rookie of the Year contender to get a win this season. But don't count out Samper. Nothing is impossible for him. You know he's going to do whatever it takes to get P1. Oh, as he nudges DJ Curtis going through turn 5. I hope he didn't nudge him too hard. Otherwise, that'll give that 16 car nose damage, and that'll hurt that car aerodynamically. As you see, Curtis doesn't really have the car to go for the win himself, but props to him. He's going to be as much of a teammate as he can to prevent Samper from passing him and reaching Cody Lamas. Anyway, behind the top 3, you got to give a pat on the back, a round of applause to Edward Ziemba and this 82 Red Bull Racing team for potentially getting a top 5 finish this afternoon. And he got pretty fortunate to get a 9th place run at Iowa, and he's on the heels of getting his second top 5 of the year for the rookie out of Chicago. That is great to see. In the meantime, Aaron Jordan in the 12th, he's gotten around Logan Cloud to get into 5th. So Logan Cloud, he's just going to try and hang on here and maybe finish 6th today. Oh, and the 82, he's got a chance underneath Samper. That's what DJ Curtis wanted to see. But it looks like Samper's going to have enough strength to get back by him under the bridge and hopefully have another shot at Curtis. Hearing just now that RJ Bishop has encountered trouble in turn number 5. And his day is going to go from bad to worse right here. He's going to clobber the 3 of Angel Gutierrez. And that good Sam Dodge is bent up heavily in the front end. And RJ has more damage now that he's got to deal with. He hasn't really climbed up that far ever since the incident with Crown and DeLello. And I'll have to wonder if he can even make it the rest of the day going like this. And RJ Bishop has elected to come down pit road with 3 to go. That damage was too much for his car to handle, I guess. Anyway, his team is going to give him a repair job on that 38 Dodge. They remove the hood and send him back out, but this means he is going to be losing out an extremely good amount of points this afternoon. There goes Cody Goforth on by, and Major Robinson also did come to pit road too, so Bishop probably going to finish way deep in the 30s at least. Now we see Noah Hart coming down pit road here in the 18 machine with just 2 laps left. And he'll be giving up a lot of key positions by doing this. I suppose his team didn't get enough gasoline in the tank of that 18 car to go the whole way. And away he goes after a splash-and-go pit stop. That's going to hurt his finish for sure. Your second-place points driver. Anyway, Cody Lamas, he leads by over 7 seconds now over DJ Curtis. And check this out. We got a battle between 2 silver Toyotas for the 4th position. Aaron Jordan in the 12th for pole position racing. He'll take that over from the 82 of Edward Ziemba in the Red Bull ride. Great work by Aaron Jordan, the South Carolina native. Unfortunately, his pole position teammate, Zachary DeLello, he's only climbed up to 27th after that restart incident. But at least he can give that team a little bit of redemption by possibly getting a top 5. But Curtis, what a great job he's doing at being a defender of 2nd over Samper and company, as he's allowed that green 48 to sail away even more. And Lamas will see the white flag this time by. He finished 2nd at Dover to Scott Roush, but I'm sure it would mean a whole lot more if he can make it around one more time and be 1 position better. And here he comes. Oh, wait a minute. He's making the right turn onto pit road. No! Cody Lamas doesn't have enough in the tank to go the rest of the way. He's pitting. He's going to give up the win today. Meanwhile, the white flag's waving with the 19 and the 16 side by side. Massive heartbreak for Cody Lamas and that 48 Martin Motorsports crew. Curtis trying to do his best to hang with Charles Samper down into turn 1 for the last time. Samper on the inside, Curtis on the outside. Curtis not giving up. Oh, but he washes up on the exit of turn number 3. Jordan and Ziemba down to his inside. They're 3 wide for second. And that is exactly what Samper wants to see in his rearview mirror. Obviously, he shouldn't look in the rearview mirror for too long. He's got to focus forward, out his windshield. What'll happen through turn 5? The rest of the pack trying to close in. How about Logan Cloud in the 20 car entering the picture? Also, Dylan Young and Vince Freeze. The 16 and the 12. These are the 2 teams. Oh, as Aaron Jordan tried to peek his nose to the inside of Samper in that right-hander. These are the 2 teams that were victorious in the last 2 races here. Samper last season, the 12 team of Pole Position Racing in Season 1 with Harrison Riley, who's absent from this race. Curtis falling even more behind in the 19. I think it'll be a race between the 16 and the 12 team. Who can get it done? Sanford leads them all through the cake. Jordan trying to copy Sanford the best he can. That Toyota of Jordan's car using as much of the draft power as he can to close in on the 16. Only a handful of turns remain. Will Sanford make a mistake? Can Aaron Jordan pull off a shocking upset and score career win number 1 today? All that's left is turn 14. You got to be perfect. And Sanford remains perfect. Charles Sanford will make the long charge up the hill to go back-to-back here at Road America in 2 straight seasons. Sanford is going to do it. He wins round 14 at Road America. Outstanding work by Charles Sanford in that number 16 Kubota machine. He gets it done for Joseph Strigley Racing and Chevrolet and scores a magical 9th career win in the Speed Racing Series presented by Middle Road Energy, 1 more away from win number 10. Even though this victory was kind of handed to him in a way, he still did a phenomenal job making sure he was in the perfect position to capitalize and be there when it counted the most. And you got to give credit to Aaron Jordan for putting up as good of a fight as he did on Charles Sanford. He scores his career best finish today in 2nd. 3rd place, DJ Curtis rounds out the podium. He tried to give Martin Motorsports the win, but ultimately the 16 and the 12 were just a little bit better. In 4th place, Edward Ziemba for the Red Bull Racing Team gets his 2nd straight top 10 finish. And then Dylan Young for the Spa Team. He comes home in 5th. Then you got Vince Freeze in 6th, Logan Cloud in 7th. Zachary Fitzwater finishes 8th after starting on the pole. Then the 2 JSR teammates of Yoshiko Sakamoto and James Ellison round out the top 10. Going back, you got Lane Sanders, Jacob Pujols, Ricky Freeman Jr. in 13th, Luke Martin 14th, Nick Breeding with a good top 15 effort for Spa. Then you got Jesse Turner, Mac Johnson, Lucas Catano, Joseph Strigley, and Kyle Rigger gets a P20 finish for ARC Racing. In 21st, Christian Vargas. Then you got Zayden Davidson, Sean Ard, Austin Rogers, Brantley Gage, and there is Cody Lamas, who you just have to feel so bad for. The rookie was en route to a win, but ended up being 4 miles too short in the fuel tank. He's going to settle for 26th. Then you got Zachary DeLello, Trey Corderlo, Roberto Crown Jr., and finishing in 30th is Saber Fox. And you got Angel Gutierrez, Aiden Smith, Hergel Alonso, Shane Sides, J.D. Martin, Skylar Taylor, Scott Roush, and Noah Hart. So 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in the points all have bad days today. And considering Sanford and Ellison finished in the top 10, Sanford ended up winning. We'll just have to see what the point total is between the top 5 in points, but I know Bishop's point lead is going to be shrunk massively, as Bishop is going to get credited with finishing 41st today. 2nd time he's finished in that position this season, the other time being at Portland, and then Benedict Mirdo, last driver on the track, gets credit with a P42. And Shade Eves out with an engine failure. Well, guys and girls, I hope you liked that one. Certainly unexpected and a shocking finish, but Sanford was the lucky one to come out on top, as he's going to have a big load of momentum when we go to Indianapolis for the next race in round 15. That one's going to be a sweet crown jewel treat that I'm sure you're going to want to stick around to see. Anyway, folks, here come your race results and your point standings following round 14. One more congratulations to Charles Sanford on picking up a big win here today in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. And we'll see you guys at Indy for the next round.